Hey guys, this is episode 21 of Out of the Hood with Hamza with your host Hamza Chitalwalla. And this is a conversation that we have with Grace Moore, who's the associate producer on the Netflix documentary Kiss the Ground. She talks about saving the soil, her journey being spiritual, how she approaches life, and her future prospects in India. She's working on something known as the Bloom Network, which is a regenerative network. And she's going to talk about her journey from inception till date. So stay tuned to know more. This is episode 21 of Out of the Hood with Hamza, which is a conversational podcast. It's a podcast about people, their stories, their struggles, their experiences. So I have with me Grace Moore today, who's a friend of mine who actually ran into the gym. And we started talking about what we do, and she told me about this Netflix movie called Kiss the Ground that she's been working on as a executive producer, right?
No, associate producer.
Associate producer. I'm sorry. I always say executive for some reason. Anyways, so it was super interesting. I went ahead, I saw the movie, and I realized that that's something that Grace has to talk about on the show. So primarily, I think today I'm gonna cover three major things, Grace, and there's like three things that are super common between us. One is about we're gonna talk about how we are professionally.
Mm-hmm.
Second, we're gonna talk about how we are personally in terms of we have a lot of things common in terms of manifestation, spirituality, we connect on that. We're going to talk about that. And the third thing, generally, I want you to talk about what your future aspirations are, how your journey in India is sort of now commenced, and how do you see it being in the future. So let's start by you just explaining to the audience what Kiss the Ground is about and what's the whole mission with the project.
Sure. So yeah, Kiss the Ground is a feature documentary film about regenerative agriculture. So that regenerative agriculture is a step beyond organic agriculture, and the premise behind it is how we can grow food in a way that not only heals our bodies and nourishes our body, but it also heals the planet in that the food is grown in a way that builds up the soil carbon content and takes carbon from the atmosphere and brings it down into the soil to reverse climate change.
Okay, so just a small sneak peek inside, and I would tell everybody who's listening to the podcast right now, if you get an opportunity today to go ahead and actually see the movie, because there's much more. She just said maybe one line about the whole thing, but there's much more inside it and super intensive, and some great people. You know a lot of people in the documentary, so you should see it that way. Also, it's a conversational podcast, and it's more about the impact that you create. So personally, with all your work in the movie, how do you think individuals in India or abroad can play their part in actually saving the soil? Something you think that they can do that's easy to do to begin with, and they can sort of build an habit and then eventually come to the level of Kiss the Ground. What do you think they could do?
Yeah, so I think anyone can get involved in this movement in whatever capacity they can. I mean, anyone can compost. They can start saving their food scraps and either, delivering it to a local composting program or even just turning it into their own soil for their potted plants. Another thing they can do is to start asking about where their food is coming from and how it's grown, and maybe even forming relationships with their local growers and their farmers. That's a huge way to just really feel connected to the food that you're eating and really feel good about what you're putting into your body.
Okay, super simple and doable, of course. As the associate producer of the movie, what was your major role in the film?
Yeah, so I came on kind of towards the end of making Kiss the Ground. So the entire film took 7 years to make. I came in the last 2 years. And so I was associate producer and also production coordinator on Kiss the Ground. So I kind of worked with the whole team and kind of was in a way the gel that brought the whole studio together. So I would work with the directors and the videographers and the editors, and I did a lot of archival producing. So a lot of the footage in the film was actually found on the internet, or we bought it from different artists and
the rights. Okay.
Cinematographers. Yeah. So I would chase those down. I also led the whole film festival track. So we were in, I think, somewhere between 75 and 90 film festivals. And so I was managing a lot of that, getting the films out to the festivals, promoting it, scheduling the interviews with the directors, etc.
Sounds like a lot of work. A lot of work. Okay, so now that we know that there's a sort of the next part of the movie that's coming along, and you visited like the Isha Foundation, how's your experience there? What do you think is different in terms of the concept of Save the Soil here in India versus the US?
Yeah, good question. So, yeah, to speak a little bit about what you were saying, I'm currently working on the follow-up to Kiss the Ground, which will be a global documentary. Kiss the Ground was more of a Western film, but this next one that's going to be coming out will cover the global regeneration movement. So we'll be covering England, Africa, India, South America to begin with. May expand beyond that. But so that work led me here to India. And yeah, I got involved with the Isha Foundation, started learning about what they're doing, and it was actually after I got here that the Save Soil movement really blew up. And so it was really exciting to see that this is a movement that's taking hold all over the world, and especially in India, and I came to the right place at the right time. Yes, Sadhguru is doing some really amazing stuff with raising awareness around saving soil. Yeah, I think the movements are all coming together in a really beautiful way. I think people are starting to wake up to what's really important right now. And because, yeah, I mean, before a few years ago, no one really talked about soil. They didn't realize that there was a difference between soil and dirt, you know?
And the whole conversation that we have, because I speak about like entrepreneurship and like my business sometimes on this podcast, and the whole conversation that we had in the gym about coming from this leather manufacturing industry, and you said how carbon is so important. It's about how the cows are placed in the whole like cycle, and that brought a lot into perspective. I think that's majorly what people should be knowing about the movie, and I want them to know more of it after they actually see it. We'd go on to talk about your journey, how you reached India, your experience here, like the last 5 months, what you've been doing here, and your plans for the future. So let's start by talking about how you reached India first.
Yeah. So like I said, I came to India to work on the film, the follow-up film to Kiss the Ground, but I also wanted to do kind of like a impact campaign for the film. I didn't want to just release a film and leave. I wanted to make sure that there were actionable items and there was a movement that could follow the film. So I set out to actually start a nonprofit here in India that could help do some of the on-the-ground activities that, you know, that were inspired by the film. Since then, you know, my idea and my vision has changed as I've gone on this journey. I came here 5 months ago, and it's been a crazy journey of figuring out what I'm doing here.
Isn't that everybody? Yeah. So
and what's happening. So now I've gotten to a place, you know, where I feel like I figured out what I want to do here in India, and I'm not so much starting a nonprofit anymore. Now I'm starting a environmental, like a regenerative consulting company. So how can we make our businesses and our nonprofits more regenerative and more holistic, and how do we keep you know, the planet and profits and human health and happiness in mind as we, you know, create our organizations and our educational institutions.
Right. A lot of people may not know the meaning of the word regenerative. So to explain it in the most basic way, what would you say if you had to explain it?
Sure. So to me, regeneration is essentially bringing new life into old systems. So I contrast it with sustainability in that, you know, sustainability is, you know, maybe let's say currently right now we're heading off a cliff, right? We're driving off a cliff. Sustainability is putting on the brakes, maybe going a little bit slower. We're still doing the bad thing, but we're doing it a little bit less bad. Regeneration is really redesigning the way that we are running our lives and running our economies and running our businesses in a way that, you know, actually nourishes and benefits all of us. And there is a way to redesign our, you know, our way of life in a way that benefits everyone. There's no reason that we have to be, you know, just taking from the earth or destroying the planet for our own, you know, happiness. I think there can be a win-win for everyone. And to me, that's what regeneration is.
Absolutely. There's this thing that I got reminded about when we were talking is that, you know, you said how like regeneration is applicable in sort of any industry or any part of life. I may be throwing you off the hook by asking you this question. If you don't have a current answer, that's fine. Maybe we can get back to later. Is three other industries where like regeneration is super possible or like very easy to do, and like examples for them if you have.
Sure.
Like apart from in terms of how we spoke about Save the Soil, which is environmental.
Yeah.
So 3 other industries, maybe like business or maybe like sports or maybe like something else. 3 other examples where regeneration is possible.
Yeah, so I think it's applicable to everything. I think it starts with our wellness. So we can talk about, the wellness industry. So
Okay.
regeneration, I think, starts from within. It's how do we, before you can really make it any impact or anything great out into the world, I think really you have to start with yourself, your body, your mind, your inner wellness. And so, how do you make sure that you're healthy and that you're waking up every morning feel creative and inspired? And I do these things with meditation and yoga and wellness and working out. I have my own ways of keeping myself, making it so that I am myself and am embodying regeneration. But beyond that, there's one thing we're studying is like regenerative fashion. That's another area that I've been looking into. So how can we start making clothes in a way that the cloth is sourced from regenerative cotton in a way that's cotton that is grown in a way that's healing the soil, and how are the farmers benefiting from this? Maybe they're no longer like dying of cancer. Like I've spoken with many farmers on this journey whose family members have died of cancer because of all the pesticides they're using on their crops. So if they're growing, if the clothes are grown in using regenerative cotton, at the same time you're benefiting the farmers by bringing more livelihoods, more economic security into lives, more health, etc. So how can we look at the entire supply chain and make it holistic and make sure that no one is losing out or getting harmed from the creation of your product? I think another one is business. Like how can you create a truly regenerative business environment? How do you make sure that you're not overworking your employees and that you're actively fostering creativity and innovation in your corporate environment? I think the traditional corporate environment is very stressful. It's high intensity. Employees are really encouraged to work really, really hard and burn themselves out. Yeah.
Okay. So 3, they were very good examples. So we said health, personal health, fashion, and the business sphere. I come from a entrepreneurship school, and we had like a design school as well. And I know so many students who are super aware about, they call it eco-friendly fashion and stuff. In today's fast fashion world, there is a lot, like a major chunk of, I think, there's a lot of wastage, a lot of chemicals being used. So fashion fits in right well. That's one thing I could relate to, and I feel there are so many young people who are working in that industry right now, and there are like great things to come from there. In all of this, one common thing I think is I don't know, maybe nature, health. I'm getting those words in my head. Like natural is what I'm getting in my head. So moving on to that, what we wanted to talk about is in terms of personal health. You said a lot about spirituality, like manifestation and stuff like that. What do you think are like techniques or things that you've done with which you've seen actual results in terms of like manifesting or spirituality? What do you do on a day-to-day basis where at the end of the day you feel super fulfilled, or you feel like what I'm doing is working for me? Because a lot of people have sort of lost hope with it. I know people who do manifestation and they're like, oh, I tried it but it doesn't work for me, or I think it's bullshit, sorry to use that word, but yeah. So what do you think has actually worked in that sphere for you?
Yeah, so for me, I like to write down like my biggest dreams, my visions for the world, even if they seem too big. No, actually, especially if they seem too big. Like if they seem, like
make
I could
no small plans.
Exactly, make no small plans. So the bigger the dream, the better.
Yeah.
Just write it down. I think writing down is the first step to achieving it. I think just opening up a corner of your mind to the possibility that this dream that you have could actually happen is the first step. And then the second step is really writing it down, getting clear on what you want, and continuing to revisit that dream and ask yourself, about the beliefs telling you that why it's not possible for you, why why you're not the one for this, and really question those. And like, because really I believe we're limitless in our capacity to create anything that we want. And yeah, just the only way to do it is to really go and get it. And for me, I use my intuition a lot with what I do. I do what I love. Like, I've gone in a couple directions, with the formation of this nonprofit, and here in India with the film that, started stressing me out and making me not feel good. And, I started to feeling like there were moments where I felt totally lost, and I just had to reconnect to, why did I come here? Like, what is actually lighting me up and exciting me about, what I'm doing. And when I reconnected to that, then I was able to find my way forward. So it's really like doing the things that you love, I think, is the best way to achieve any goal that you want. Is just pay attention to what's lighting you up.
Intense. Like, you're like 24 now. The people listening, if you've been listening to my podcast, so I'm on the verge of now sort of moving out of my house. That's what I want to do. I want to set up my own studio, have more podcasts, because I've not been very frequent with posting episodes, because I moved on like to the coaching consulting side of it, because money. But no, so you're like 24, you've left home. I feel you're super independent, and you're like a role model in a way for me in terms of how you live your life. Somebody who wants to sort of just break out of those limitations of like work, who's doing like a 9 to 5 and has a dream, wants to pursue it. His problems may be financial, maybe the parents, I don't know, maybe scared or she's scared. What do you think are the 3 tips, 3 maybe 3, 4, 5 that people should keep in mind when they're moving out to start off their journey solo on their own, when they don't have anybody? 3 things that will really help them, like as a starter pack to somebody moving out.
Yeah. So I would say first, get really clear on what you want to do. And if you want to move out of your house, good, do that.
Even if you have no money,
you just take the steps, take the risks, because it's the only way that it's going to happen. A huge thing that I would say is find mentors. So find people that have done what you want to do, even if it doesn't look exactly like what you want to do, but maybe it's even like, your friend has left the house and is trying to start their own thing. Ask them about it, what was that like for you? What were some of the challenges you faced? Because people love to share their experiences, especially like older people who have, gone through a lot of the same struggles that you're about to face. True. So find those mentors, start talking to them, and they'll give you your time. They'll give you their time. Third, I would say, is make lots of connections. Just go out and talk to everyone. You do that.
I think I only do that. I think I only do that. No work, only connections and networking.
I mean, I sat down on a bench in the gym and this guy came up to me and started talking to me. So, yeah, just talk to anyone you can. Every opportunity that you'll get will come from other people. So just make sure that you know as many other people as possible, and make sure that you're carrying on those relationships, especially the ones that feel the most exciting and encouraging and inspirational, like the conversations that you leave and feeling better, and inspired and coming up with new ideas. Just really keep those people close. And I think I would also say just, you're inherently going to come up against a lot of fears whenever you're going out and doing something new. And so just, and a lot of the time you might be discouraged and say, this isn't for me. It didn't work. Maybe like I wasn't able to make my rent first month, but those fears are going to come, and there's only, the only way out is through. You just have to let them come. You just have to really like feel them and let them pass, and know that there's something better on the other side.
Yeah, you said this one line that sort of stuck, and then I was just thinking about it right now, is that opportunities come from other people. Mm-hmm. That's usually we're taught in school, and also when we're out in life, that grab the opportunity when you see it, or take the opportunity, make the most out of it. Opportunities come from other people is like the first time that I've heard it in such an impactful way, because you really don't realize. If I never had that conversation with you on the bench, I wouldn't be sitting here making a podcast with you. I wouldn't know you exist. Hell, you know. So that's super important. So to sort of put it back again, one was clarity. The second was find life coaches, mentors. The third was network with people, and the fourth you said face your failures, right? Was that what it was? The gist of it? Face your failures and
learn from them.
Yeah, learn from them. That's, I think, the most important thing. We've covered most of it I wanted to say, and we're like 19 minutes inside it, and I really want to talk to you more. So I want you to sort of directly talk to the audience, and if there's any way. So you have the second movie coming out, you have the Bloom Network idea, a lot of other ideas. People who listen to this are from the age group of 18 to like 35 max. Do you think that they can be part of your journey in any way? How do you think they can help you out, maybe with the movie in some way, or the Bloom Network that you want to talk about? A lot of people, I'm sure, would reach out to you just to like be part of your network and the ideas you have for it. So talk more about what you're going to do with the network. If people want to be part of it, what like the action plan for that?
Yeah. So I'd spoken a little bit about the consulting company that I'm building, but really, the crux of what I'm excited about right now is to build out what I'm calling the Bloom Network, which is a network of just top creative people and innovative minds across India, who can come together and dinners or events or you name it, whatever the opportunity. But just my intention is to get these people together and just connect on an authentic basis, not like your typical networking environment. I want to bring these people together to really just get to know each other and connect, and then explore collaborations, but really with the overall goal of creating regenerative environments or cultures or organizations. And I've held a couple events so far, and they've been lots of fun. We've been able to bring in top minds from top companies. Across Mumbai.
We won't reveal names, but really top companies. I know who these people are.
So it's been really fun. So I would love anyone to reach out to me and join the network. We'll have you at some of our future events.
Perfect. You spoke about 4 rules that you need to keep in mind when you're leaving your home to do whatever you want, sort of breakthrough in life. What's your life's... This is one question I ask all my guests at the end again, because the whole concept of the podcast, a lot of people get it wrong. Oh, he's bringing guests on and talking to them. But at a deeper and a core level, it's more about understanding that one single learning of your life that change your life completely, because everybody has that one learning, You learn a lot of things in your daily life, but one thing sticks with you, and I feel that thing sort of defines your whole life journey till the day you die. So for that, what is the only one thing that you would say that you've learned from your 24 years, and someone can already learn if they haven't experienced it yet, or who are way younger than you? So what would be the one thing? It's something you have to put a lot of thought into. Trust me, everybody thinks for like 2 minutes.
No, I would say I'm ready.
Oh, you're ready. Go for it. Hit that mic.
I would say just surrender to the flow of life. I think, we're taught how to, hustle and fight and, try really hard and work really hard. But sometimes life will just open up. Like when you're open to life and open to new experiences, life will just take you on a beautiful journey that will, in places that you would never even imagined you could be going. And so just open to that. Start saying yes to the opportunities that life brings you, and start following your passions and, going towards the things that excite you, and, start ignoring the things that aren't exciting you and lighting you up.
Okay. Go with the flow, maybe. But there is something there is this picture that's always on Instagram and always pops up in front of me for some way. I don't know if you know about it, but they say that dead fish go with the flow kind of thing. It's opposite to what you've said right now. Yeah. It is kind of a conflicty thing, and I know there'll be a lot of people in the comments being like, only dead fish go with the flow. That's why I addressed it right now. But I think you say it from a level where it doesn't mean the same thing. You say it from a level that is not like you get up every day in the morning and you wait for opportunity to
Right.
knock on your door, or then you flow with that. I don't think it's that. It's about making those timetables. It's about making those to-do lists, meeting the right people, networking, being out there
Yeah.
in this thing of life. And when you're out there, the opportunities come, and then life takes you on its course. I think that's what she means. So don't misquote her, people listening. That's about it, I think, from episode 21 of Out of the Hood with Hamza. That's me and Grace. And you can connect with her on LinkedIn, Instagram, anywhere else that you would really like them to connect.
Those are the main places.
So LinkedIn and Instagram, you can find her in My Connections if you can't find her otherwise. And connect with her for all the right reasons, please. Okay, and I just had to put out there. So connect with her and talked about the network. Help her out if you can. If you're in India, she's in Mumbai, and create something superb and amazing with your life. You need inspiration. She's always there. That's about it. I'll see you all at the future podcasts. So for everyone who's been following me on Instagram and LinkedIn, you know now that Out of the Hood with Hamza has shifted from a hobby for me to a side hustle or a side gig wherein I help individuals and organizations communicate their why through podcasting. So in order to get a free consultation call with me, you can log into Instagram and go and click the link in my bio and book a free consultation call with Calendly. And secondly, my free ebook about 10-step checklist to launch your own podcast is now available. You can get the same in my bio as well. I hope to connect with more people very soon and help them in their podcasting journeys and actually create a media machine that they can monetize in the future and get some meaning to life in a way. So see you soon.